2023. What a lovely year, I would say. I don't really know. I still don't know how to do these because these are kind of more for my enjoyment than anyone else's. So, I'm filming on this digital camera that I bought. I thought, it like the little grainy, shitty film look would be well suited for the shitty little channel we got going on here. I think it just kind of makes it more cohesive, more in tune. And because my phone actually has no storage, so I can't use my phone to film, and I don't have the actual camera for that. So, that being said, books. So in 2023, I read 30 books, which is about double the amount I read last year. I kind of read like 18 last year. I kind of read like 31 this year because I read something for school, but we're not counting the George Washington book. That was absolute hell. So, yeah, I would do stats. We might be able to pick up um, Goodreads and be able to view my stats for this year, but we should get into what it is I read this year. So in January, I read 2 books. I read A Court of Mist and Fury. Should I say what I rated everything? I should probably say like what I rated everything. Go into the spread and we'll see. So I read A Court of Mist and Fury, which I gave 5 stars. This is the second book in the ACOTAR series. This is second to Court of Thorns Roses, which I read A Court of Thorns Roses in December of 2022. So this in January. Then we have A Court of Wings and Ruin, which I'd say is arguably my fave in the series. Akawar, which I also gave 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I don't know. I think I read the beginning of it so fast. I think I might have read this one the fastest. All I know is that I really liked this one. This one had me crying. I like Snapchat videos of me crying. I really enjoyed this one. Like, I really enjoyed Akumov, but this one was just, I don't know. Like, I just remember this one. Like, I remember feeling this one. I think the other one I finished right before going to, like, work, so it didn't, like, hit the same for me, but, like, that one was still really good. I just have a different found appreciation for this one. I think maybe it's the plot and the war, the battles, and that kind of stuff that just does it for me. Then, and next is February of 2023. We just went and read A Court of Frost and Starlight, which I gave 3 stars. It was cute. This took me way too long to read for it being like 300 pages, right? No, it was 229 pages. This took me way too long to read for it being that short. It was cute, I suppose. Some racy scenes. Racy is in you know what I mean. It was cute, yes. Good little Christmas episode, if you will. Winter solstice, sorry. Winter solstice. 3 stars. I read A Court of Silver Flames, which I gave 5 stars. This book was 751 pages. This was probably the biggest book I had read so far. Hefty. And I was so angry when I started this book and like was reading it, okay? Like I was a Nesta hater. I hated her, okay? And I know people are like apologetic towards her and they love Nesta and they put Feyre down and it's like shut up. Feyre will always be on top. I adore Feyre and everything she went through for her family. People completely ignore that and look it over. After reading this, I do like Nesta's character, but I would never forgive her for that. And all I can say is that this book also made me look down upon like other characters in the series, unfortunately. But I really did enjoy this, and there were multiple times where I was like I was feeling the story. Okay, I loved this storyline, and yeah, I did. I just made me appreciate Nesta a bit more, and the Valkyries. But yeah, Court of Silver Flames. 5 stars. I loved it, okay? And then afterwards, I think after ACOTAR, I tried to read Normal People. I think that's what I tried to do. And I annotated the first 50 pages, but then I just like was like, I'm bored. And this book is really short and the font's like big and everything. I was just like, meh. And, I annotated. But I was like, I'm bored. Over it. So I want to read fantasy again. So what else do we read in was it March? Now it's March, yeah. In March I read a total of 4 books. Big deal. I read The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, right? And people love this series. People adore this series. This is like people's favorite like fantasy. This is like a YA kind of series. And I gave The Cruel Prince, I gave it 4 stars. Okay, I read it really fast. I enjoyed it. There were some things where I was like, this is a little confusing. But like the plot things, there were certain parts I was like gasped. I think my problem is that compared to how everyone else imagined Jude, I feel like I imagined her to be younger than she actually is. because you start the book off in like a past memory of her as a child. So I had a hard time putting her in like a older age. But like I love the fan art of like her and like Carden. And I want everyone to know that this is not an enemies to lovers series. This is a more political series. Political as in like it follows the plot more than like her and Carden or whatever they got going on. So don't read it for that. I did like Carden and his darkness. I did not like him in this book. Well, whatever. I give it 4 stars. That was that. Then I read The Wicked King, which I also gave 4 stars. I can't tell you like exactly what happened in these books. I don't exactly remember. If I saw something, I'd be like, oh yeah. I just remember reading them very fast. And then I read The Queen of Nothing, which I gave 3 stars. I think there was a battle or something in this book where I was just like, it just doesn't do it for me. Like, it just didn't need it or something. I feel like it was out of place. I think that's what was happening. Again, I enjoyed the characters, like the story or whatever. It's not my favorite, but it was decent. It was good. I wouldn't say I hated this series. I wouldn't say that it was completely mid. I can see why people really enjoy it. I think reading it after ACOTAR and loving ACOTAR, I was like, oh. But I think it was good. I think it was good. I would recommend this to like my younger cousin. When I say younger, she's literally 16, but I think it was good. Read these in March, and then I was like, no, I don't want to read a normal book. No, I don't want to read a normal book. No, like I still want to read fantasy, which is why we read Throne of Glass in March. Starting in March, the journey. I gave Throne of Glass 5 stars. 5 stars. I loved this book. Some people start with Assassin's Blade, and I was going to start with Assassin's Blade, but I was like, no, I'm gonna read them in the order that they were like released. So why not? So I read Throne of Glass first, and people said like it's confusing if you don't read Assassin's Blade first, and like for me, it wasn't. Like I don't know, like you get thrown into the plot, and I loved that. Okay, like I loved that because you get thrown into it, but you get the world building and everything, and I loved the castle setting and the introduction to Dorian. My man, it's just her, Dorian, and Chaol. That was absolutely exquisite. So yeah, I gave it 5 stars. Throne Glass, 5 stars. Then it is February, March, April. April, I read Crown of Midnight, and I gave Crown of Midnight. Did I give it 4 stars? Okay, I guess I gave it 4 stars. I think it might have been, maybe I read it a little slower, but when I think about it, like I really enjoyed this book, okay? I really enjoyed this book. I feel like people shit on it and say like it's their least favorite. I really enjoyed this book. I don't remember why I gave it 4 stars. Maybe I felt influenced by other people, but I feel like when I look at it, this book, I enjoy like the appreciation. Maybe it's because I had certain things spoiled for me, so like they didn't hit as hard for me. Maybe that was it. But again, like I loved this book. Maybe it was the romance between a certain character. All I know is I still love Dorian. I still love Dorian with my entire heart. So I guess 4 stars. This could probably be 5 stars because the series is 5 stars for me. But anyway, after that, I read The Assassin's Blade. Was this also in April? Yeah, I read The Assassin's Blade in April. And like I knew what was gonna happen in this book because I read the other ones first, and I still bawled my eyes out. I bawled my eyes out. And yeah, I gave this one 4 stars because I wish there was more Sam in it. He was great. He's such a good character. Some people read this first, and I can see why. But I feel like it was a good transition to read this book into Heir of Fire and the rest of the series because these characters don't show up until you start getting into this series. And I feel like if you read this first, it'd be a long haul to bring the characters back. But I feel like her memories of this or whatever on what was happening was a good transition. So 4 stars. Cried my eyes out. Then I read Heir of Fire, which I gave this 5 stars. I wouldn't say this is my favorite one. This was really good because we meet new characters, and yeah, we meet new characters. I don't know what to say. I just gave it 5 stars because it was good. Like it was still good, just not as good as like the next few, but you know what I mean. Like it was good because you meet new characters. I don't think it was my favorite at the time, but like yeah, as I like looked through it, I'm like, this was really good. This was really good. It was really good. That's all I can say for Heir of Fire. Heir of Fire read Heir of Fire in May, and then I read Queen of Shadows. Okay, now this is where like shit starts to like like really escalate. I love this book so much. I think there's a specific quote in here. If it's not in here, it might be in Heir of Fire. Okay, I just knew I fell more in love with Dorian. Okay, no matter like what was going on, like I just loved him more, and I love our main character, of course. This book was just good. Okay, this was really good, really good. I hate how I can't be like this is what was happening because now we're getting like in too deep into the story. All I know is that like as you get deeper into the story, there's a lot more characters. There's a lot more to keep up with. There's a whole lot going on and like to keep track of. And I love it. I loved it so much. So, Queen of Shadows, a personal fave, 5 stars. That was May. Okay, so low-key, camera kind of stopped recording, so I don't know if it caught me talking about, like, what I read. So this is where my camera stopped recording, so I'm just gonna insert from another video what it was that I was talking about, so that way I don't have to say it again, because I don't feel like doing that. I'm a little lazy, so that's just what I'm gonna insert a clip. So in June, did the tandem read for Throne of Glass. I finished these in July. In July, I read Kingdom of Ash. I read this from July into August. Also, those were all 5 stars, except Tower of Dawn. I might have gotten like 4.5 stars, but I still loved it. You know, I can't read a fantasy after that. That's an epic fantasy. I can't compare anything else to it. So I read Icebreaker, and I gave it 3 stars. August, Caraval, 4 stars. Didn't love Scarlet. It's okay. She grew on me. September, Legendary, 4 stars as well. Liked it more. Loved Donatella. I don't know. She just kept things, I feel, more real. I mean, there are certain aspects where, like, felt bad for Scarlet and whatever, but maybe that was finale. I don't know. Because finale has their both their perspectives, but 4 stars, Legendary. I love Jax. What a man. We love Jax. Why is my notes app open? Okay. 4 stars. Then in September, I read Finale, which I gave 4 stars. I thought this was a good way to close this series. Again, love Jax. I love Donatella and Dante and Scarlet and Julian, all these characters. I love Jax. Actually, couldn't get enough of Jax. I needed more Jax. 4 stars. I needed more Jax. Oh, God bless our souls. Once Upon a Broken Heart. I gave this book 3.75, 4 stars, okay? I love Jax, like I said. I don't know, I can't remember. I have a whole vlog of me reading, like, this series, and I read this really fast. I read this in a few days, and this was really good. It was really good, and I enjoyed it, and it was really fast-paced. And I love Jax. It was okay. I mean, it wasn't like the best. Not like the Ballad of Never After, which I also read in September. Yeah, I read 4 books in September. The Ballad of Never After, 5 stars. Oh my god, this gives you this was everything. This was everything. Oh my god, I am in love with Jax. And Jax and Evangeline, like, they were everything. They were supposed to be everything. 5 stars. 5 stars. Again, I have a full vlog of me reading the series, and the cliffhanger of this book, like, it drove me nuts, but this was so good. The banter, the talking, it was everything. This was everything. 5 stars. And after that, it was October, and it was like, oh, like, I need to read a book, like, maybe something different or whatever. And I was like, oh, like, vampires, and I love the Vampire Diaries, and I just watched Twilight with all my friends. Like, we did a watch thing together. Hello? I'm filming my little video. Yes. The nerve. The nerve. Sorry. That's rude. Anyway, October, I was like, oh, like, I want to read something with little, a little spooky, little ambiance. I just watched Twilight with all my friends, watching the Vampire Diaries, of course, because I love the Vampire Diaries, and my sister had bought me this book, and then I bought the whole series, just because, like, I need to have the entire series, and I was like, okay, I'll finally read it, it's that time year, and I read Crave. And I actually read it on my Kindle because it's on Prime Reading. So I read it on my Kindle instead because I don't like hardcover books. And I gave Crave 1.5 stars. And you can see in, like, my what I read in October videos that this was when it started I was like, oh, like, it's got this or whatever in this, but, like, I can look past this, but there was, like, no plot, and I don't know what this was. Like, this was, like, insane. Like, this how this exists. I don't understand. This was what? Like, it just didn't make sense. Like, nothing was happening, yet everything was happening, and, like, nothing should have been happening because it just doesn't make sense. That was Crave. And then, oh my god, and then I read Because of Deception. Oh my god, by Mary E. Pearson, and I gave this 5 stars. I loved this. Leah, I think her name. Yeah, Leah, Kaden, and Rafe. Yeah, something happened in this book where I was, like, completely gagged, and I was like, oh, that's not what I thought everything was. I felt deceived. I felt deception, as they said. 5 stars. This was good. Then I read the next book, and the Remnant Chronicles. The Heart of Betrayal, 4.5 stars. This was also really good. I feel like I can never say much for series, but this was good. Then 4 stars. So they went down as the series went. Like the first book, I don't know, it just gave me everything I needed. And the second book was also really good. I feel like some of the things that happened in here, it was just like too drawn out. Still really good. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters. I love Mary E. Pearson's writing. These made October good. After reading Crave, these were brilliant, I would say. These are really good. Then it was November, and I had been waiting for this book. Right, and also I think what made The Duty of Darkness hard to read was because I was ready to read this. A Curse for True Love, the third book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, came out, and I was like, oh, finally. November came. Like this is the month for this. Like A Curse for True Love. This was the third book, and I gave this 3 stars. Which is so heartbreaking because this was 5 stars. So good. This had so much potential. So much potential, not enough Jacks. And I will leave it at that. Too much some of other person, not enough Jacks. But the parts that he was in here, they were everything. So 3 stars, or like 3.5 stars, 3.5 or 3.75. Yeah, that's what Goodreads says. Then, you know, I needed to take November as a just like read whatever, because in December I had planned what I would read in December and January and everything. So November I read Flawless by Elsie Silver, and I gave it 4 stars. It was really good. It was a fun ride, if you know what I mean. 4 stars. It was good. It was fast paced. I ate it up. Her writing is just so good, I guess you could say. So yeah, I read Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This book, 5 stars. 5 stars. I hadn't felt this way since Dance of Thieves. Oh my goodness. And I know it was heavily inspired by that. It felt like the Hunger Games. It felt like, you know, Kai Azer, I believe his name is. Oh my god. Payton. Oh, this was so good. But yeah, I made a video just ranting about this because I thought this was so good and I think everyone should read it. And I can't wait for the next one, which will unfortunately not come out until like July or something like that. June, July. So far away. I loved this. This was so good. Such a... Oh, I was like, oh, I can't believe I put this off for so long. This was really good, and the font was really tiny. And then I read Heartless in the Chestnut Springs series, which is after Flawless, and I gave that 4 stars. Kate and Willa, I loved that, okay? I loved that. I don't care if people didn't like this specific trope in there. I feel like for her character, it was perfect. I think it was perfect. I think it was perfect for the series. I don't really like the series, the book, whatever. I loved Cade. I loved their banter. I loved her. I love how she stands her ground and she's, I don't know. It was good. It was good. And now that November's over, December, which I finally finished. I finished this at, I think, of December 30th. Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. And I gave this like 4.5 stars. It's at, I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, but it could be like a 4.25, 4.5, something like that. I could bump it up when I read the next book, because God, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have read it so late. Maybe that would have changed my perspective. So many things happened at 2 a.m. I was like, oh, or something I read, and I was like, oh. And I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it unless you've read every other book in her entire universe of series, because I am mind blown. And of course I fuck around and found out. I searched something up and spoiled a little something for myself because I was piecing things together. And there's only one more book for me to read, and I somehow spoiled a little thing for myself. It's like so minimal that it doesn't matter. I love this universe. Don't read this if you haven't read ACOTAR and Throne of Glass. Like you could, but don't make this your first Sarah J. Maas book. Don't do it. Don't do it. The first 100 pages is just being like, oh, I gotta wrap this up. But yeah, this is the last book I read. So I read a total of 30 books. So can't wait for 2024. January is looking like House of Sky and Breath, something else. And February is looking like House of Flame and Shadow. That's all I can say. So this is quite the year. I need to maybe look at my Goodreads stats. We'll see. I might continue this. We'll see. We'll see. I have to put all of these back. All these gotta go back. So bye bye.